wish that I could present to you a more fun, positive topic or something curious to catch your minds, but I decided to present on something near and dear to my heart. I'm going to be discussing how to accept failure within the equestrian world. Hi, I'm Paige Spiess from Barn Bum's 4-H Club. I'm 17 years old and I've been in 4-H for 8 years now. Today I'm going to be discussing with you how to accept failure. So, my introduction. Today I'm going to discuss failure, where you might experience failure in the equestrian world, initial reactions to failure, coping mechanisms, how to beat horse show nerves, the 2-minute rule, my sourcing, and failure as according to friends and family. So as I start my presentation, I kind of want to leave you with this quote from John C. Maxwell. Fail early, fail often, but always fail forward. To me, this quote means that failure is a positive, a thing where we can learn mistakes from. It might hold different heart for you. What is failure? Failure. It's a noun. A lack of success or the omission of expected or required action. However, that is just the textbook definition. Failure means something to everyone different. Where might we experience failure in the equestrian setting? These are some places where I've experienced failure in the equestrian setting, and I feel that many people experience it as they go on through their equestrian life. An incorrect lead, a fall, a lameness, a bad go in the show pen, a sale, or a loss, whether it be of a horse, a trainer, a mentor, or a friend. So, the initial reaction to failure. This varies from person to person. My reaction is going to be very different from yours. So I'm going to use an example. I was at an IAA horse show 2 years back. I drew a horse named Frank. I overspun, did 5 spins to the right, zeroed my pattern. I was devastated. I was in shock. I had to go to my horsemanship class right after. But I don't think I truly felt my failure till that night when a fire ignited in me and I wanted to do better the next day, to learn from my mistake, to go back to counting my spins on my fingers. So we're going to discuss 10 healthy coping mechanisms to deal with failure. So the first thing you must do is embrace your emotions. The accompanying emotions with failure are embarrassment, anxiety, anger, sadness, and shame. These emotions are uncomfortable, and as humans, we tend to avoid them. We want to avoid conflict with our inner being. But you need to recognize these emotions rather than the failure itself. Label the emotions and allow yourself to experience them. You need to embrace the suck in order to learn from your mistakes. You need to reduce unhealthy attempts to minimize pain. Minimizing pain does not make it go away. It only makes the problem seem smaller, but in reality, it's just growing. Do not fill that void with food, drugs, or alcohol. You need to recognize your unhealthy coping mechanisms. If you're a binge eater, recognize that. Do something about it. You need to practice healthy coping skills. Calling a friend, practicing deep breathing, taking a bubble bath, going for a walk, or playing with a pet are all great examples of coping skills that aren't really in the moment. Some examples of good coping skills in the moment are breathing in and breathing out, taking a quick walk, even turning around, walking away from the situation. Find what works for you. Create a list of healthy coping habits and put them in a prominent place, going back to the binge eating. If you find yourself to be a snacker or a drinker, put a list of good things that you like to do. You like to read, write, go for a walk, take a bath. Write that down and put it on your refrigerator or your alcohol cabinet, and that will help you. Acknowledge irrational beliefs about failure. Recognizing inaccurate beliefs prevents you from doing things where failure is evident. For example, doing a reining class with a hunter. If you set yourself up to fail, you're going to fail. You don't ever want to set yourself up to fail by taking, for example, the wrong horse into the wrong class. Do not think failure makes you a bad person. You need to develop realistic thoughts about failure. A single mistake is not a total failure. You need to reframe your thoughts. Think, I can handle my failure. I can learn from my failures. And especially this one. Failure is a sign that I'm challenging myself to do something difficult. If you never step outside of your comfort zone, you're never going to grow. You need to accept an appropriate level of responsibility. An accurate level of responsibility for your failure will help you grow. However, too much responsibility results in excess blame, excess emotion, excess trauma. However, blaming other people or circumstances prevents you from learning from your mistakes. Look for explanations, not for excuses. Identify the reasons you failed and acknowledge what you can do better next time. Going back to when I overspun, I recognized that I thought I was too good to count on my fingers when I spun. And I acknowledged that when I go back into the pen, I need to go 1, 2, 3, whoa. You should research famous failures. Both Thomas Edison and Walt Disney faced many failures while building their empires. However, this did not stop them. We should study the bounce back of how people overcome their failures. I'm not a historic scholar, so I choose to look up to Sean Flaherty. Sean Flaherty is a $7 million NRHA rider, a great person, a kind person to people and his horses. When he's faced adversity, he works hard. I've taken lessons with him. I've truly learned from him, and I enjoy his method on life and his outlook on life and how he bounces back from bad goes in the show pen or just failures in general. Ask yourself what you can learn. Failure is a great teacher. What mistakes did you make? And think about what you could do different next time. Going back once again to Frankie. I didn't count on my fingers, thought I was too cool for that. I thought about what I could do better next time by being more focused when I was in the pen and counting on my fingers. Or if you pick up the wrong lead, think about the fact that maybe you didn't clear the shoulder enough, maybe you didn't set the horse up right. Recognize what you did wrong and do better next time. Create a plan moving forward. Ruminating on a mistake leaves you stuck. Use the information you gain and put a plan into practice. If you just stay on a situation and don't try to better it or help it, the situation just gets worse. It's like an infection if you never treat it. You need to face your fears of failure. You need to take action to reduce the discomfort that failure and stepping outside of your comfort zone puts on you. Step outside of your comfort zone. Do something scary. Do things where rejection or failure is possible. Move up from cross rails to 2 foots. Move up from the juniors to the seniors. Move up from adult to professional. So I felt like beating horse show nerves ties well into this as it can prevent failure in the show pen. So you need to block out the audience. Very cliche, I know, but don't worry about what people in the audience are thinking about. Don't worry about what else is in the pen with you. Obviously pay attention and avoid ring collisions, but don't worry about what anyone is thinking. Block out what you cannot control. You cannot control the footing. You cannot control the weather. Mother Nature does not care that there is a horse show going on today and will continue to let rain hit that tin roof. And the placings. If your horse hasn't placed all day, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do your last class of the day. You might have a great go and you just had bad luck all day with the judge seeing your mistakes and not others. You need to block out detail overload. If you warm up everything your horse knows in the show pen, you're going to stress yourself out. Do your walk, do your jog, do your lope, halt back, do what you need to do for that class. But don't overload yourself for your horse. Block out history. Leave your drama at the gate. If you had an argument with your trainer or your mom, or your horse bucked in the exercise pen, don't worry about that right now. Don't take the argument on your mom out on your horse, and don't expect them to buck in the show pen. They might have just been having a moment. I know it seems like I said block out a lot of stuff, but there are things you can control. You can fill yourself with constructive, positive thoughts. You can have a confident posture, and you can have confidence in your ride. Most classes are pinned within the first 10 seconds of a walk-in, as a judge can see who is the most confident. So the 2-minute horse show meltdown, or the 2-minute rule. This was sent to me by my trainer, William Abel. It's reserved for trainers, family members, riders, grooms, and horses. If you have have a bad go, you have 2 minutes to be mad at and choose up to 2 of the following options. The trainer, the horse, the client, the mom, the dad, the brother, the sister, yourself, your son, daughter, husband, wife, the world, the weather, the arena footing, acts of God, spectators, officials, judges, world hunger, or anything you want to blame. In private, you may, as needed, curse, swear, hold your breath, however, this is not recommended, cry, stomp your feet, throw yourself on the ground, be silent, stew, fester, seethe, throw feces, strike, kick, or bite. However, upon completion of your 2 minutes, you will be expected to, as necessary, pick yourself up, lift up your chin, repair broken objects, pull your underwear out of a wad, apologize, fix your makeup, fix your crown, take a deep breath, and rejoin the team. Your people will be there waiting for you. They want to support you. They want to see you do well. So I asked some friends and family on failure what they thought of what it was. So Sarah Rose, a lady I boarded with, said failure is not living up to your own expectations. We are our own worst critics. My father says failure is a part of life and to be learned from. It only becomes negative when you fail the same way multiple times. My sources were 10 Healthy Ways to Bounce Back from Failure, The Very Well Mind, How to Beat Horse-Show Nerves from Horse Journals, Friends and Family on Facebook.com, William Abel, and Just Plain Old Experiences. I'd be happy to answer any questions.